Hello. It's been a long time since I've been on here, but that's because I had this little one. So she was due March 1st, and I had a sweep done not the last week of February, the week before that. So when I was just before 38 weeks. Anyway, that didn't work at all. And it really, like, the first time I had that done with my son, which was almost a decade ago, um, it worked really well. It was uncomfortable. This one wasn't uncomfortable, but no contractions. I was 2 centimeters dilated, 50 to 60% effaced. So, like the thinning of the cervix and stuff, and how much dilated I am. When I went back the next week, and we had recently moved, so we moved into this townhome. It's still not all totally unpacked, to be honest. Like, it's still the OCD for cleaning in me is not happy. But right now I'm so overtired I don't really care. So anyway, so then I went in for 39 weeks. Dave's parents were up, my mom was out. It was just a lot going on. I have a cousin who had major surgery. She had a heart transplant. I was countdown to being due. Dave's parents own a dog kennel and they were getting ready to open, and we moved. I had to clean the place, just because she let us move in early because she knew the due date. It was a lot. Anyway, when I went in just under before 39 weeks, apparently my blood pressure was up. I've never had hypertension, aka high blood pressure, before ever. And the nursing assistant, the nurse, and my OBGYN all checked me. And it was 156 over 96, 150 over 96. It was just way, way, way too high. So then I was like, oh, I'm not leaving the hospital. So she wrote orders for me to go upstairs and get induced. And so that was February 27th. My appointment was at 11. And she was born at 23:04, so 11:04. So basically 12 hours later. It definitely was not like my first birth with my son. I went in at 2 and had him at 8. Pushed really well, had to have an episiotomy, and then he came out right away. I pushed and pushed and for about an hour, and then the OBGYN that was on call had to go to the OR. Sorry. Oh. And then they asked me to just wait. So for about an hour, I had so much pressure and pain down there. I had an epidural, but it was not. I could probably have clicked it more, because it was set for a bolus every 45 minutes, and then I could click it every 10 minutes, but not 10 minutes before or after the bolus. But the nurse was just tell me when you push it, and I did a couple of times, but it didn't make any difference because it was my body wanted to push, and I was just not pushing because that's what she asked me to do, and I did that for about an hour. It was very uncomfortable. It was not fun. And then another nurse came in because that one went on break, and she checked everything and allowed me to push for a little bit. And I guess I must have been pushing okay because I knew the OBGYN had been out of the OR because they told me, and then they called her back in. Anyway, so then I did push for an hour, and I was so tired when I wasn't having a contraction and pushing, I literally could have passed out asleep. It was tiring. It was exhausting. I tore just a second degree where my episiotomy had been, but Who wants that to happen? Um, anyway, she came out perfectly healthy. She was way bigger than anybody thought she was going to be. Well, maybe not Dave's aunt. Dave's aunt had a big weight. Um, but like when I first started pushing, they saw her head. I thought she was going to be about the size of my son, like give or take seven something. She was 8 pounds and 15 ounces. Yeah, that happened. And she was long. She was 22 and 3/4 inches. So she was super long. I think my dates were off, and they did too. They said, I think they said that in there after the fact, which I had always like been adamant. So anyway, not that it matters. Um, and so we've been home. She's 2 weeks today, and of course, breastfeeding's been an issue. She would latch, and she would suck a little bit, and then she'd either fall asleep or get really cranky. So she wouldn't work for the letdown to get a bunch of milk. And I've been still trying. I tried last night, and the same thing happens. So I was like, I was pumping in the hospital because they recommended either pumping and dipping my finger in it and feeding it to her or giving her a bottle. But I didn't want to give her a bottle because once you get used to that nipple, that's the end of it. So I did that, but she had gone down in weight. She was mucousy, so she was spitting up food, like the food that she was getting a little bit. It was just a really, like a big challenge. And so then anyway, we went home like that, and I was doing that and pumping enough, but I didn't think she was getting enough. And then I realized how many wet diapers she had like Friday, and I started putting it in a bottle because it was definitely not enough. A baby should have like at least 6 to 8 wet diapers in 24 hours, and I knew she hadn't. So I started, and she had been a little jaundiced, and I could see it in her, like the white of her eyes and her face. So I started giving her the milk in the bottle, and she was drinking much more. So I had asked for a follow up on Saturday because her weight had went from 815 to 88 in the hospital, and she was still like not latching right. So we went and we talked to the nurse, and we were there for 2 hours, and she had gone down even more in weight, 8.6. Like, so she was like on that cusp of the 10 percentile. They don't like them to lose 10% or more of their body weight. So I was still, that nurse tried everything. I had already tried everything. So she just said, well, keep trying her on the nipple shield, even though she latched better on my like normal nipple. Anyway, she still won't. It's like she gets super agitated that it's not like a instant gratification. She doesn't want to work for it. And, being a new mom again is hard. It's not easy. And, for any of you who have more than one under two, I can't even imagine because my son has been a huge help. He's like my gopher. He's not home right now. He's with his grandparents, or his both sets of grandparents in Cape Breton, and he'll run and get me things. He'll although I'm kind of happy that he's doing a lot of different things because the last 2 nights with this one have been like exhausting. Hear the crack of my voice. I just, it would be hard to get out the door and do anything with him. And then of course I'm not breastfeeding, so I have to take my pump to pump or have enough milk if I'm gonna go out. So I can only go so long, depending on how many bottles I want to take. I just have to prepare, otherwise she'll wake up starving. I do have the pre-made mixes. I've been pumping quite a bit, and I've been like doing well. But now that she's 2 weeks, she's starting to drink more. And the last 2 nights, like I just fed her, so she's like in a milk coma right now. But she just drank 100 mils. Like that's a pump for me. Sometimes if I don't, like I was so exhausted, not last night, the night before, that one she had fallen asleep. I couldn't bring myself to pump and go downstairs and pump. So I didn't, and it leaked all over the bed. It was like this huge mess. And so it's, it's difficult. It would be so much easier to be able to take her and go and breastfeed and like have it with you, but I really want to breastfeed or her to get my breast milk. So here we are. Otherwise, just, she slept last night from, well, she slept from 10 till 12:46, but I was starting to do my thank you cards for my shower so that I can get those out with like pictures of her. But by like it was 10 to 11, I was thinking, you know what? I don't know how this night's gonna go. I better lay down. And so I did, and I fell asleep, and she woke up at like something to 1. And I had to change her a couple of times and feed her a couple of times. So she didn't go actually back to sleep until 3. And then she only slept till 5. And it might have been less than that, to be honest. And then by the time I fed her, changed her a couple of times, burped her, and pumped, it was 7. Actually, I called Dave. He slept upstairs. And I called him at 7:06 to wake him up because I couldn't bring myself to walk up the stairs. Like, that's where I was this morning. When you're like literally exhausted and frustrated and like so overtired that you just start break down and cry. That's where I was. That's where I was. And I was there yesterday too. Like, I had all these like lovely plans to do stuff. I had put a wash in and never got back upstairs. I literally didn't even brush my teeth yesterday until Dave got home or got a shower. And being a mom for almost 10 years and being able to like do that stuff, you really regret it. Like, I don't have any makeup on. My nails are starting peeling off. Like, I have to like take them off. I thought, oh, I remember how exhausting this is. And I did, like, I kind of do, but I forgot how difficult it was to get out of the darn door. Like, we're supposed to get a storm tonight here, the nor'easter that's coming up the east coast of the States. And, Dave had a few things he wanted me to pick up. And right now I'm thinking, if I can pump right now and drink my coffee after this, that's all I want. That's all I want. And, kudos to people that have multiple, like my grandmother's had 14 kids. My other grandmother had 11. Like, I can't even fathom. I'm starting to think they're nuts. And I love them dearly, and I love all my aunts and uncles, and I always love big family because you have tons of cousins and there's everybody around. And, people are like talking about me, about my age gap, and I'm like, age gap? Hello. I'm like, I've been able to sleep through the night for years. And now it's like flashback. And, we talk about having a third. And Dave's basically okay with whatever I want to do. And I was like, no, I think I'm good, especially after the birth of her, because my son's birth was much easier and much more comfortable. I'm like, I'm also going to be 35 in April, so I know time-wise, like, and I know people have kids in their 40s and whatever, that's fine. And no judgment, I'm just not sure it's for me. And I love her, and she's sweet, and, she definitely only gets upset if she wants something. Like, she's not a colicky or anything like that. But, like, here, I'll show you what I'm looking at right now. So there's our TV on the wall, and there is the mess of stuff because we don't have something for the Bose to go onto the wall with. We're waiting for it to come in from Amazon. And the Apple TV, so then all those cords can't be set up. That's our coffee table. The TV was on before it got hung on the wall. And it's just like, I used to be able to do all that stuff. And now I have to choose. Like, this morning so far, I've, like, slept when she slept. Well, she was, like, stirring for a while. And then finally, at about 10 o'clock, woke up. And like I had been up maybe for 20 minutes, and I like got bottles sterilized, and I got bottles made up. Like, look at that stuff on the counter. That is Christmas and Halloween stuff that was not packed in the proper box when we moved, and it's still sitting there next to the sterilizer with those pictures wrapped, and the picture right there. And I'm thinking, I don't even know where to go. Like right now I have a pile of baby clothes in her rocking chair because her dresser finally come in from Bye Bye Baby, and that's like a whole other story. Anyway, I mean it's going okay. I'm happy she's getting my breast milk. I'm disappointed that like I had 2 babies that didn't want to latch. My son latched with a shield and ate like a glutton. She doesn't want to latch either way, but eats like a glutton from the bottle. And it gets super frustrating. And it's almost disheartening as a mom to want to do it. Like, I'm not one of those ones that wants to take, like, or not just do it for whatever your reasons are. I really wanted to do it. And I know lots of people that have this beautiful experience breastfeeding and how much easier, and I was so looking forward to it. I thought, like, okay, perfect. It's been almost a decade. This is a different baby. And she latched on no problem. And she would take a few sucks, like strong ones, and then realize, like, she wasn't going to get very much and get upset. And it's upsetting because then she'd start crying. Or she'd actually just get lazy and fall asleep. So we did everything. We stripped her off. We wet her with a wet face cloth. Anyway, she's here now. This is Atlee Grace. That's her outfit we're going to put on her later. Look at how she sleeps. She loves to actually sleep on her side, so when we have her on it, she's like always kind of tilted. She tilts all the time. Like, I've seen her go from her back to her side. It's crazy. And if she lays on Dave, she's doing the same thing, like until she gets in that sideline position. Anyway. We love her. Her brother loves her. It's a different experience for him. He likes holding her. He wants to go and get her a stuffy, which is a stuffed animal. That's what we call it, a stuffy. Anyway, when he gets back, that's what we're going to do. Go and make her a Build-A-Bear. He wants one too. He's got like umpteen of them. Anyway, we're slowly coming together. But new moms, especially those that have multiple kids close together, like, you're the bomb. You are made of something, I'm not sure of what, because right now I'm like just trying to function. I'm trying to function. Like, I'm happy yesterday that I ended up getting a shower. So my hair's like really thick and curly, like, or wavy, and so I washed it last night, and of course did nothing with it. So this is what that looks like a disheveled mess. As do I look like a disheveled mess, but who cares, because I have a sleeping baby right now. I'm starving. Ugh. And I need coffee, as every mother knows. Hashtag mom life. Like, it's astounding how much you forget, or like just, you're tired, but like, and I work 12-hour shifts. I've worked 12-hour shifts in the ER and come home and stayed up to drive my darn son to school, and I still feel more tired. There are no words for this kind of tired. And until you go through it, you really can't fathom it. And you got to do it. Because they won't feed themselves, or change themselves, or tell you what they want. So you can change them, and burp them, and rock them, and feed them. And for some reason, you put them down in their bassinet, and that is not good enough, because they want to be on you. They're training you, like, early on. I'm convinced. Anyway, sorry I've been on for so long. or with a video. It just, with moving, it was just a mess. Anyway, this is my baby girl. I love how they sleep like that, and that new baby smell. I will make a proper video soon. Have a great day. Bye.